Hi guys, welcome to week 7. We're really starting to do our work and see some changes, but you might be a little bit, ooh, this is heavy, and it's okay. This week's another heavy week. This week we're looking at betrayal. We touched upon it a little bit last week, brought up Inanna, talked about the meat hook, but now we're really digging into this whole meat hook and what it means. Yeah, we're talking a little bit betrayal this week. And the thing is, remembering about betrayal is it doesn't necessarily have to be in love, although it can be, and most of us will experience it, either being the betrayed or the betrayer, and sometimes we get to play both roles. No judgment there. I know that life is just how it works, and this is also something with forgiveness that we're talking about in the upcoming modules and how to deal with this, but we need to learn how to be compassionate and not judging people. And this is not about letting people walk over you. It is about firm boundaries, but also knowing when to not let the person upset you anymore, to take the lessons and move on and integrate them. So I really don't want to make it sound like when we talk about betrayal that it's a great thing and you're going to learn so much about yourself. Betrayal hurts to the point that depending on who did the betraying, like I said, if it's, and be it romantic or at work or at within a family, it can cause post-traumatic stress disorder, depending on how deep this betrayal went. I'd like to tell people, you need to remember that you thought your world was one way, and it is an emotional earthquake that ripped through your world, and now all of a sudden the world's another. For me, it's often very difficult even still to remember that I have one brother now, and I'll admit sometimes I don't even tell people. I just talk about Michael like he's alive, because I just don't want to deal with telling them that my little brother's dead. And for me, it's so, oh my god. And it's not like it's a secret. If you ask me, I'll tell her. But sometimes I'm like, you know what, in passing conversation, someone who I'm not real friends with and somehow my brother comes up with, I'm like, I don't feel the need sometimes to say, by the way, he's dead. I just talk about what he did or didn't do, and my brother did this, and blah, blah, blah. But in the end, it's because my world really was reshaped by that event of him dying. I'm the oldest child. We were less than a year apart. I was a year and a half older than Sean, who was a year older than Michael. Like, we were so close. We were all in, my earliest memories involve my brothers. So I don't want to ever say that betrayal has to be in terms of romantic relationships. Betrayal can be anyway. And his death, but I still see as a betrayal, even though he didn't do it personally. Death is still a betrayal to who you want, why you want, and how you define yourself, as a mother or a daughter or a wife or a partner, or however you see yourself. A loss can be a major blow. And so this is something that I think we need to look at in this course, be it grief from whatever level of betrayal happened, either a death right up to a spouse cheating on you or having an affair. And I think that the important thing to remember, though, again, is this friction. And we're talking about the pain, but we're also talking about what that pain can teach us and what we can take from that. Yeah, it's also the fact that you thought the cage would keep you safe and it didn't. How could this tragedy come in and rip my world apart? It can rip anyone's world apart. It doesn't matter if you have a cage or not. And this is something to kind of remember, and what we're looking at in this course, because we're looking at the reconciliation with the feminine on this module 7.3. Sorry, module 7.1. Don't mind me, I'm looking up there at the same time because I'm like, don't forget stuff, Sherry, because you always forget stuff. But yes, the important point is, this is also talking about checking in with ourselves, checking with other people. Try not to blame people when we change, because I also think that if we're checking in soon enough, we'll catch the change before it has a chance to really rip our world apart. It doesn't always mean we'll be happy with change. It doesn't always mean that we want to let people go, or we want to let ideas or transformations or our dreams go, but I do believe we need to keep in touch with it and thinking to ourselves, if I go for this and it fails, am I just as happy I tried? And we need to go really deep into that, because sometimes you won't be, and sometimes you absolutely will be, and sometimes you need to learn what wins resistance, that actually you would be, but you're trying to tell yourself no so you don't have to fail, and when you actually want to do it. So it's messy and it's convoluted, and that's why we're into this course and why you're mapping it for yourself, because in the end, no one can tell you this stuff except for yourself. So this is what we're looking at this course. We're looking at this module, reconciliation with the feminine, wounds to wisdom, here there be dragons. Really looking at that mess of how to take your wound and turn it into wisdom. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. How to make that transformation. And also we're going to look at really deeply at the Inanna's descent and how to use it for your own healing and cage busting, because Inanna's story is very powerful. And I hope to see you on the other side.